This is very much a passion project. I know that you want to be full-time someday, right?
Yes, maybe there are some teachers who don't want, but I think really it's very challenging to recruit and retain beginners.
It is.
A lot of the comments that we did get were they thought it was a little too crowded.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
You want to get into that later?
That's coming.
Okay, all right.
That's coming.
Okay. Welcome back, guys, to Staying Grounded with Vienna Tango School. My name is John, and joining me are
Amanda.
And Melody.
We are the Jam team.
That's right.
Go team.
Jam. Okay.
The VTS Jam team. Well, we got to get all the acronyms in there, basically.
You're right.
All right. Well, today, so I'm excited about this topic. I think I'm the most excited about this topic. I know you guys are like, meh, but okay. There's reasons. There are reasons. So today we're going to talk about the business behind the Tango School. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, and we did an open kimono episode a year ago. Maybe it was a little bit less than a year ago because we started the school and then we did one open kimono where we talked about kind of the surprises about running the business or the logistics in the business behind a milonga. Since then, we have had multiple cohorts of students come into the school. We've had we've had three workshops with two couples and one solo teacher.
Yep.
We've had a bunch of performances, a couple extra podcast episodes with teachers. I think we've learned a lot.
Safe to say that our idea of growing a community has expanded.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
We were like, let's start with the milonga and then the school. And then that has just blown up. And then we added the podcast. And now we're like organizing events. So
yes. And I think in a later episode, we are going to talk about how our perception of tango has changed. So I'm going to save some of my thoughts around that. Because this year has definitely.
I don't know, Melody. You have a lot of thoughts on this right now.
I do.
Just let it all out.
Okay. Well, so a couple things that I really want to make sure we talk about, because I think people, there's this strange world in which tango exists because it's an art form and people are really passionate about the art form. Like, how many episodes have we talked about, what is tango and what is tango not, right? But it's a business. And we don't
Poorly
live
run business.
Well, hey. We're not going to judge. We're not going to judge.
No, I mean the concept of it.
The concept. Well, okay, we're going to talk about that. And then also, it's a community for some. It's a hobby for some. It's a lifestyle for some. It has to sustain some people.
Yes.
And then for us, just so people know, this is very much a passion project. I know that you want to be full-time someday, right? But for us, John and I, that's not something we ever want to do, right? And it very much is we're doing it because we see a need in the local community specifically, and it's a little bit of fine, we'll do it. There's definitely a little bit of that in there.
Yeah. I think I finally just bit the bullet because for me, it's the one day, hopefully, if it all lines up, the idea of going into a full-time is really, I recognize I put so much of my energy already into tango.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't really go all the way in, even with as much as I do, because I do have a daytime job.
Yes.
Hope my coworkers are not watching this because I did tell them about the podcast. I'm just kidding.
But this is someday in the future.
Like in the future, right? So it's I want to know how much impact can I really have if I really devote all of my time and effort and resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and so here's the interesting thing. When we started it, we had a lot of conversations with a lot of friends. And John and I before VTS.
Hold on. But back up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's when we first opened the space, it was before the Tango School.
So before
and
VTS.
And then it was just, this space is amazing. We want to run a milonga, and that was it, right? But then we
no. That I wouldn't actually even say that was it. Yes, that's part of it. But I would say that I was feeling such a sadness about one of our core community pieces disappearing. And I saw an opportunity to try to create some semblance of what that had been
Right.
Eastern market, right?
Right.
So that it was that I thought that
Okay.
there was a need for that, and it could be something really beautiful.
Right.
So it's not that like, oh, we made the space. It was like to fill that need
Right.
that I saw.
But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that it became really obvious quickly that that was not enough. That just
Yes.
having
Yes.
a monthly Malanga is not enough to
Yes.
achieve anything, really.
Yeah. Well, and so let's give a little backstory, because I know that we have listeners not just in the DC area, some DC, but worldwide, right? And we're in a location where we were pretty deeply impacted by COVID. I mean, obviously, everything shut down for everyone. And people have returned, but we lost some key organizers in our city. We lost like some key teachers. Things shifted for the teachers that were here. And what happened is the pathway for beginners to come in was, well, one, we lost a generation, right? Because of COVID, because nobody's going to start dancing tango in the midst of a pandemic, rightly so. So we lost what would have been like a pretty vital part of the ecosystem. And then at the same time, a key organizer moved away that really, I think, was fundamental in shaping this community. And then what happened is that the remainder of the organizers, nobody really wanted to teach beginners, and they just want to focus on who already exists in the community. And we talked about this. Like, you either see it as a fixed pie and let me chisel as much of this pie out as I can for myself, or you try to bake more pie. So we were like, oh, shoot, we got to bake more pie. Like, ultimately, and for my, this is my own selfish, I want more amazing dancing in a Malanga. I want to go to a Malanga and feel like I couldn't possibly dance with every person I have a burning desire to dance with. And that's not the case right now.
And I mean, too, is yes, maybe there are some teachers who don't want, but I think really it's very challenging to recruit and retain beginners.
It is, yes.
It's a very daunting task. And so I think that's just plays into why it's just a harder thing to do, which is why there's fewer people that are able to do it, especially if you need to make a living out of it.
Yes. Oh, so what I was saying earlier, before we started, we had a lot of conversations. And when we decided, okay, we were kind of mulling this idea, I'm like, oh, okay, teaching is going to be part of the equation as well. We had more conversations about teaching. And from multiple places, multiple sources that have experience, it was, yes, if you're lucky, you get 20 people in a class, and then one or two will continue.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that's the case. I think if you do it right, then you should be able to retain them. I don't think it's that tango is just so rare and unicorny that like only 1 in 20 is going to get it, right? And I was also told you can't, maybe if you get a class of 20 students once, sure. You're not going to do it over and over. And I was like,
and you know, I think the question there isn't like, could we do it or couldn't we do it? But it's like, what needs to be true for that to happen?
What needs to be true?
Like, that's the conversation nobody really talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we, like you said, there's every other dance seems to make it work except from my limited experience, except for tango.
Yeah.
Like
even I mean, ballroom is a huge
country line dancing. Like people show, given that
nothing wrong with country line dancing.
No, I'm saying
it's great. It's great.
Every possible other dance form seems to somehow figure it out, but for tango, it's just so challenging to get people through the door.
Yes,
I think we overcomplicate it sometimes.
Well, I also think everybody thinks they're doing it the right way. People are less likely to say, oh, let me find somebody else's model that's working and learn why it's working so I can incorporate. And so like over this past year, what people don't realize is like, Amanda, you've invested like a lot of time and money and energy in like mentoring with maestros that have like 40 decades of experience, that have done this over and over, and also maestros that have built schools and maestros that have literally done dissertations on this, right, to see what's worked. So you've been working and gathering knowledge as a trio and as a partnership. We've been doing like lessons with teachers on how to teach and what we'll retain and how to structure it. And we do have a whole right. Episode. I'm just going to throw that out there. I was right. So we'll talk about that later. I'm just going to say I was right
in the other episode.
But we put a lot of time and effort into figuring out what would keep them.
Yeah.
And then, like, I have a studio. The other story is that I've been running a business for 20 years. I've put a lot of time and effort and money into making all of
Yes.
the mistakes, and also spending a lot of money for education on how to run a business, how to market a business, how to grow a business, in also an industry where anybody can decide that they're going to join that industry professionally. Because technically, anybody could be like, I teach tango now because I took 3 classes.
Right.
Like, and like literally we know someone who took 1 year of classes and was like, oh, I could teach beginners and I should build a school. And like, you know what? Go for it. Do it. It's fine. If you do it and you successfully get people in the door and you can successfully teach them and retain them,
Yeah.
you're going to end up learning along the way.
But
Go
guys,
for it.
we're gonna spoil it for the other episode.
Well, okay. So to what we learned,
yes, about growing a community.
about growing a community and the business.
Yes.
Okay. So during that time, we said we had 3 workshops. One was like, okay, there's some things people don't know. That when you're hosting workshops, usually it's one of 2 things. Either you're going to do a revenue share that's more rare, right? And it's usually a larger maestro that they're not open to that, right? They're not going to come on a gamble and a hope and a prayer that you can
Right.
fill because they don't know, right? Or it's you're going to pay their teaching fee. This is what I didn't know. I know you did because you'd been organizing, but like they have a set fee. Usually it's multiple thousands of dollars. If you can get your students into the class to hopefully,
It's on you to,
it is on you to cover that fee,
for your
right? But it's not just the fee. It's the fee. It's a transportation. Sometimes it's parts of their visa expenses. You have to feed them. You got to make sure that they're taken care of, right? So we had a local workshop where we really had very low attendance. Thankfully, that was a revenue share. And I think that person has been in the business long enough that they were very understanding. Like we were newer at this. We had a workshop where our expenses exceeded the amount of revenue that we brought in, which to me as a business person, I'm like, oh, that hurts. That hurts. So we paid $200 so other people could take workshops.
which is not that bad. It
Okay.
could have been much worse.
Sure.
But it shouldn't have been the case.
Sure,
It shouldn't have been
could
the
have
case.
been much worse. Yes,
Shouldn't have
yes.
been the case.
But still, like in my mind, that equation is like,
Right.
oh, those people in that workshop, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, and of course, like they paid money for it too. And if we could have filled it, it would be a different thing. And then we had,
Well, and also too, what's sad about those situations isn't just like we cover extra costs, but we don't get to give even more to the teachers.
yeah,
you
and we
know?
and we have to consider
or reduce the cost for the students
Yes,
either.
yes,
So people don't
yeah.
realize like when prices go up, it's because we can't guarantee attendance because people aren't coming to things.
Yes,
But like just
yes.
enough people have expressed demand for it.
Yeah.
But when it's time to actually like put down, but then also do life circumstances happen. There was like lots of layoffs. So we had to like battle a lot of different unknowns.
Yes, yeah. But then we had a workshop that sold out.
Right.
That sold out, and people even showed up that hadn't
Right.
even reserved a space, right? And I would say that was a smashing success. Like that was so beautiful and invigorating. Now, we did do a survey afterwards, and like the majority of people were like absolutely amazing. And then you get a 4-star with no comment, and you're like, why is that a 4 out of 5 stars? What? You're not going to tell us why you took a star off? Like, so even still, it's a success, but like,
Happy with the 4.
you're happy with the 4. I want the 5.
Melody's
All the 5s.
Melody's pushing us for higher
Well,
standards.
no.
for
We live
sure.
in the Yelp,
We do live in
Uber
that,
world
yeah.
where if it's not 5-star, it's 1-star basically.
I don't know if I don't trust 5 stars. You need to be like a 4.6 type. Situation.
Yeah. Well, but I will say, what's really interesting is like, sure, financially, we had a roller coaster for those workshops. Yeah.
Okay, but if I just to I want to be specific about that last workshop, that
Yeah.
was a smashing success. A lot of the comments that we did get were they thought it was a little too crowded.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
You want to get into that later?
That's coming.
Okay, all right.
That's coming.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay.
But from a financial perspective.
But from a financial perspective, like what I find interesting is like, yes, it's a business, it's also an art, right? So financially, it's a roller coaster. I personally found all 3 of those weekends personally and artistically incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
And even like the one where we ended up losing money, I
learned the
walked away
most.
from that so inspired.
Yeah.
Right. So of course we gained from that. Yes.
And can I just add, even within the business realm, there's an art to the business too,
Yes.
because you have to make a lot of assumptions about what will work with
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Which goes against our nature as tango dancers. There's certain things that we look for in tango dancers, but then to bring in maestros, but then there's other things that you wouldn't expect would be as important that actually ends up benefiting you in the end. So it's very strange math.
Yes. Okay. Well, and so open kimono, smashing success was great. But we had 4 organizers, so the 3 of us, and we had another partner organizing, right? So we successfully paid our maestros, and we all walked away with a nominal amount of money. It was not like nobody's taking a vacation on the amount of money that we earned. I'll put it that way. Or
First
it would be a
earning
very,
No, it would be
very simple.
It would be
vacation.
a sweet pizza party if we all pulled it, right?
That would be an amazing pizza party. Yes. Okay. So like that was lovely. And definitely we feel invigorated. But why did we do the workshops? Like we're not doing it for financial gain. Like clearly it's like to run a workshop, you're making this commitment for out of town maestros. You make a commitment that you have these expenses, whether you feel it or not, right? Hopefully you have time to take some private lessons, but I know we have slightly different takes, but I know you will sacrifice that time that you had said for somebody else if they want to take private lessons. Yeah. But part of the reason we're doing it is to inspire the community.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think people know how much time we even spend on the workshop topics.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just
Talk.
details. We probably spend more time on that than anything else. We will spend weeks combing through like whatever master deck of classes the teachers will send us, like a Word or PowerPoint or PDF. Thinking through critically, like, okay, is this topic sufficient? Can we ask them to modify this topic a little bit? What do we see when we go to the milongas? What's missing? What are people? When was the last time we've had a topic about this? Like, there's so much thinking that, and maybe that's also where some of our assumptions can be a hit or miss because that's our perception of what's needed in the community. To me, that's one of the most fun parts of organizing workshops is figuring out the topics.
There's also there's the perspective of what topics work and what the community needs, but also what topics will sell because it is a business,
right?
Yes,
and if we don't
there has to be a marketing component,
right? If we don't get butts in the seats, it's not going to work ever.
Yes, yeah, and like we're bringing people that we believe in their quality and their capability to teach. So it's like, how do we convince people that these people are so incredible, right? And then there's like the logistics of booking the tickets and making sure they're accommodated. And thank you to Yolanda who hosted for us and like helped us, even like if we had to pay for a hotel, you know, and Parveen who hosted for us too, and to Jake's host, like that would have significantly impacted the amount of money. So it's like very, very little reward. I think that as an outsider, the perception can very much be, if you've never been in that world, like, oh, they must be making so much money bringing this couple. And it's like, nope, margin's real slim. It's very much a labor of love. So that's the workshop piece. The school piece. So we're not going to talk about too much about teaching, but what I find very interesting is that we kind of changed as we were really critically thinking about how we were teaching. We changed our approach, right? We were bringing in students, and it's on me because I'm the marketing person.
Why?
No. It's on me that I wasn't bringing people in. It's on me that I because I knew what to do. Clearly, I knew what to do. Now we've had like 3 cohorts that
of like
30 two that are booked sold out, right? Like clearly I knew what to do, and because I do it for the studio, and I was like, I'm not doing it, and we could have maybe attacked it.
I think it would have been overwhelming. Actually, I think the pace was perfect. Yes.
Well, I think.
It was better for us to trial and error with a smaller group.
True. Oh, that is true. That is true. That we had a smaller group. We were trying a different approach, probably the approach that most people think you should take as when you're an experienced dancer. And we were just losing people. Like they would come for a while and they would leave, and for a while they would. And it wasn't like at one point we had a class with like one student. No, one time we had no students show up. Yeah, we did have, and we did, and it was sad.
Yeah,
and it feels bad. It feels bad when you're like, I'm here. And
honestly, I'd rather nobody show up than 1 or 2 people show up. That's worse.
1 or 2.
Now they see like
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
have the validation that this is a
Yeah,
good
well, and
decision.
shout out to the students that were there when it was one or two students
They've been with
and that are
us.
still here with
Yeah.
us
I'm so
as
happy now that we have a bigger class for them to participate in.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and at some point I was like, okay, the other really interesting thing that somebody said to me was the audience just isn't there.
Mm.
One of my friends, good friends, who has experience like teaching and trying to appeal to a larger crowd, was like, no, no, no,
I always want
it's
to know
just
who
not
these
there.
people are that she talks
I'll
about.
tell you later. They know who they are. They're listening. And I was like, I think the audience, I think there's like, how many people live in this area? They're there. They don't know that they're there. They haven't been
Yeah.
exposed, but like, this is a
I
marketing
mean, every
awareness
month we
issue.
get at least 30 brand new people that are
Yeah.
interested. And that's
Yes.
just because we block it off for space.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
And
for
as long as
limitation.
I put it out there and get it in front of eyeballs, people that resonate will
Can
show up.
we I would love can we make a bookmark, Melody, to
Yeah.
talk about that whole marketing process? Like will you
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to like package this into like a training thing, because honestly this woman I don't understand.
I think
Like
people need it.
I'm
Yeah.
in the back end also seeing it and I still don't fully understand how it's working. So we need like a package, like how to market and
Give you
communicate Tango.
a marketing masterclass.
Yes, I think you need to do a master
Yeah.
series
That's a-
on this.
That's a paid class.
That needs to be a paid class, because that
I'll think about it. I'll think. No, like truly, I actually, I've been talking to friends and I was like, how do we make Europe has these larger communities?
Yeah.
They have like so many events and like it's so rich and they have more history than we have, of course. But like, and it's a different culture. You can travel more easily. But I'm like, I don't see why we can't build a thriving
Right.
community where it's yes, it's one large community and everybody can find their pocket, because not every pocket works, right? So you have to have numbers for people to find their
Yeah.
people within the community. I think it's possible, and I think it'll get there, but it is our passion project. So
which is why one of us needs to be doing
yeah,
this
one of
full
us. Yes. Yeah. So, all right. So let's open kimono with the business.
Yes.
So we've successfully been growing our classes, but we have also been reinvesting in the school. And like, what did we pay ourselves? $200 last year or something? What
we
was that
paid ourselves?
distribution?
we got paid. Wait, guys.
Each-
So
uh,
so
that
no.
meeting.
So first of all, just to start from the beginning, one of the boundaries that we set for ourselves is that we would essentially we wouldn't take on debt,
Yes.
right?
No
So
debt.
that we would pay all the expenses based on all the revenue that we managed to bring in.
And put whatever extra we make into savings
Right.
to prepare.
To
So that
prepare
we have a
for.
buffer
Right.
for these maestros
And then
for the
after-
cases
Right.
when we can't fill the workshop.
And we're happy to say that we've been able to do that, right? We and not just that, we've been able to purchase a couple extra pieces of equipment,
Like we needed mirrors.
and an extra speaker for the Malanga. So that's all been great. And I totally forgot where you were going.
Well, I was saying like after all those expenses. So like,
Yeah.
yes, I can fill a class, but I know that equation right now, and maybe over time with more experience and we learn what draws people in, we'll be able to reduce our marketing expense. But the marketing expense is substantial, and we have to pay basically what they pay for their class to
Right.
get them into class. And we can't charge more because psychologically we would like have to pay more. That's just, there is an equation. The more it costs, basically the more your ad cost goes up. And it's actually getting men or people who want to lead to sign up cost twice what
Yes.
it costs to get a follower to sign up. So if we can figure that piece out,
Where's
like
Kathy? Being a statistician to review our analysis.
yeah, well, like come on, dudes, like you want to meet the ladies, here they are in the class. Like, come on. Why? And somebody told me I should look on a dating website. I'm like, well, but I don't really want
I
guys
don't want
that
that
are-
kind of.
Yeah. So like, okay, if we figure that piece of the puzzle out, maybe our marketing costs will go down. And then if we can retain our students, then that money all goes to the rent for the use of the space, basically, which the school pays to use the space.
And actually, I think the next big piece that's missing, which is on me because it's my to-do list, but surveying the students, because we guess a lot about, oh, I think this is working because I saw this and I think it's like this. But until you hear officially back from the people in the program, we're just going to keep guessing.
Yes.
And I don't think a lot of other people do this officially.
Yes.
You may get a response here or there, but it may not be representative of everyone.
Yeah. So now where we are, like we do hear verbal feedback, but I think for me, because we don't have those survey responses yet, the biggest feedback is actually, do they stay?
Yeah.
Are they enjoying it and having fun enough that they want to keep continuing their journey? And like one of our students said something that I was like, oh, duh. Early in the journey, Chris was like, well, yeah, I figure as long as I'm still having fun, I'll keep doing it. And I was like, oh, right. They want to have fun. Because like to us, we're like, tango, 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 get to the tango and the tango bliss. And and it's like, no, it's a hobby. It's a hobby that they need to have fun doing. And like maybe hopefully, because there will be not fun parts, but hopefully that they feel the desire to break through that because they recognize it's worth it. And I think when you're a couple months in, you don't see that yet.
No.
Right. And not everybody will get to that place anyway.
But when you think about like why certain people come, why other people don't, can we take a moment real quick? Because back to the like our two big events, which is really what we can compare, maybe even some of our milongas. But the two big events that we had, which we had teachers come of excellent teaching quality, of beautiful performance quality, of the same standard of quality of experience, but we had more people in one than the other, right? So it's like, what were some of the factors that, and I think we also had roughly the same amount of promoting time. Maybe one was a little bit shorter.
Well, actually, no, because so the one where we lost money was before the one at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The one that was a success, right? And I think because of that, I was like, oh, we are going to promote the crap out of this, right?
But we barely did before we spots started filling up.
Yes, and we tried, but there is a really large difference in their social media following. So they are marketing themselves.
Didn't realize how much social media is impacting.
But
this.
even still, there were cases where people said, I didn't realize it was that couple, despite our marketing efforts, right? So like there was a case where one of the people in the dance partnership really wanted to do the workshops, but they weren't even aware that that it was the couple that they had been following for years, right? So and in our local scene to market, really it's like one place you can make announcements and then it's just social media. There's not really any other way for people to know, or in our classes or in our school.
Or DMing.
Or DMing, but I have a hard time with that one. I have a hard time, and you don't. You so like you're our DMing.
I'm the DMer.
Yeah, you're our DMing,
and that's something to talk about, right? Because that can sometimes hinder your relationship because you don't want to be transactional with the people that you enjoy being in the community with. At the same time, you recognize that tango is very much of an in-person thing. Not a lot of people who are like, once you're a local in the sense you know when and where everything is, you stop paying attention a lot to the online advertising because you're going to hear the milonga or you're going to see it on the calendar and then that's it.
Yeah.
So there does need to be that aspect of, hey, reminder, we have these people coming. That is a tricky one to like balance it enough so you don't feel like that I only talk to you when I'm trying to get you to come out to an event, because I truly care about you and I also truly think that you will like this event. And I think one of the things that I do is I try to only message the people that I think would truly like the specific event that we're having. So it's already like aligned to that. I'm not like asking them to go beyond their, but it can be tough.
No,
but you got to do it.
But that's the reason I have a hard time with it is like, I'm sure John hasn't. I'm sure we've all gotten that message from the friend who signed up with the MLM that you haven't heard from in 10 years. And then you're like, oh, did this person want to reconnect with me? And then they're like, oh, buy my thing. And you're like, oh, okay. Then that feels bad, right? That feels terrible.
What do you mean I haven't?
Do you have a friend? Have you had a friend?
No, I don't. But
okay.
you know.
By the way, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to keep the same. instructed to keep the same distance from the
Oh, no,
mic.
no. But actually, when you look at John, you should just do
This instead.
So
Okay.
that, yeah.
Sorry for those listening. I hear back and it sounds horrible when I'm like shouting and then everyone else is calm.
Yeah.
I'll speak at a calmer tone.
This is
softer.
NPR. This is Down Home Prairie.
Well, okay. So I know I've said this is our passion project like multiple times, but also to all of our listeners, we love your feedback. And when you say to us that you are expecting something professionally produced, this is literally our Saturday off that we're just here chatting and hoping that you enjoy it. So I do hope you enjoy it. There may be some unprofessional elements because we are not professional podcasters. So I'm just going to
This
throw
point,
that
I think
caveat.
this is pretty.
I hope they understand it. So, okay, all right. Anyway, back. We digress. Back to our open kimono, so we can wrap up the topic. I think. What would you guys say have been maybe the biggest lessons learned in the past year?
I think the things that are obvious from a tango perspective is not always obvious from a business perspective, and vice versa.
Yes.
So sometimes you kind of need to bite the bullet, let's say it, and go with the business acumen smarts version of it, because you do need that to sustain
Yes.
and be able to then show the tango to people. So for instance, in our intro series, which I know a lot of people have sort of like raised eyebrows at, but we teach we'll throw in a random crazy thing. And yes, for me, even personally, as a tango, whatever, I've been dancing for so long, I would never dream to imagine to teach a beginner this thing. But it helps make people feel just excited enough, just long enough for them to actually come take the progressive long-term series. I would have never thought to combine, to throw in a gancho in like week 3, right? Or even week 2.
Yeah.
But it works, guys. It works, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And
Are we going to
people-
talk more about that in the teaching?
teaching?
One? Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, I think we should.
So I should rant about it in that
Rant
episode.
about it in that episode.
Because
Okay.
my God, that is one thing the number of conversations I've had with people where we'll save it for the other one.
We'll pin it.
Save it.
I have found that I very much enjoy teaching the beginner class. Actually, like I enjoy that moment where they find themselves doing something that is really cool to them, and they're like, "Whoa, this is really cool," and they feel like I'm doing tango now. I'm not, it's not just this awkward thing. I'm like doing this cool move. So I enjoy that feeling, and so ultimately, I enjoy being inspirational, right? So that part's very, very nice. But yes, I think it's tango. It's an art form, and there's this heavy emphasis on art. But just to echo what you guys have been saying, none of this works if the business side doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Exactly. Yeah. Even for a nonprofit, they still have to cover their expenses, right? And like we are very much operating this like it's a nonprofit, even though we don't have a board and we're not officially a nonprofit. But like I said, like, yeah, I think we did like a $200 disbursement at the end of the year so that we could each pay our own taxes on the remainder of savings in the school. But like literally, so to all of our students, we love you that much that we are there teaching you for free. And to all of our volunteers.
After working 10-hour day shifts of volunteers. Yeah, we can do this with the volunteers.
Yeah.
What about you, Melody? Coming in already having a business mindset, already being very familiar with tango, was there anything new that you observed over this last year as we've tried to like stand up?
I think it was a reminder for me. I try very hard to release expectations or to identify where I might be holding expectations subconsciously. And this is mostly, I think I had an expectation that people in the community would be like, oh, let me be supportive of this new endeavor, which I shouldn't hold. I shouldn't hold an expectation of anybody because I think in doing that, I'm like, oh, they must see tango the way I see tango. They must want the same thing for tango as I want for tango, and they must want the same thing for the community. And I think that just like students that come into class have different motivations. Some want to do something fun, some want fitness, some want connection, some want community, whatever it is. I think some tango organizers have different motivations, and I can only really like view the world from mine, but I can't expect them to have the same motivations that I have. So like I find it difficult when organizers plan 3 events on one night and they know that that's already been there, right? Or like I personally wouldn't make that choice, right? We were very intentional to choose a day that was open. And in fact, like we chose a
Communicated
day,
with people
yeah,
also.
that the person who had that day, actually, we had a conversation the day that they closed it and they said, you should take that day, right? So, like, not only did we wait till there was an opening, but then, like, that person who was leaving it was like, yeah, you should take it, right? Um, I also I try to operate from a place of integrity. And for me, that means I have certain moral values, and I know that not everybody has the same moral values. So that has been a learning lesson. I think it will continue to be a
Are
learning
you talking about what
lesson,
I'm thinking you're talking about?
probably. I think the tango politics I really strongly dislike. I strongly dislike, again, different people have different moral values. And I try to release judgment and just focus on what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that will always be a continual journey. And like, as if we're operating from a place where we're like, we are set on doing something that is meant to help people and improve the community
Yeah.
as a whole, that's all we can really do, right? That's the negative piece. I think the positive piece, like John says, I find so much joy and pride in like watching people have this brand new discovery of what's possible. One of my employees started taking classes, and she said to me, "Oh, there was a moment dancing with her partner. There's a moment that we were just together." And I was like, "Oh,
That's it.
that's it." Like she's just glimpsing. She's getting
Yeah, yeah,
a taste, and I'm like, to know that other people get to experience that joy, that is incredible. And I am getting so much more enjoyment out of that than because I am a little like I did start it a little begrudgingly, like fine, okay, we have to do this thing, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And now, I mean, we've had conversations about this. It makes me, I want to know why in everything. That's why the marketing works, because I've taken so much time to be like, why, and to dig into what other people have studied and to learn. With the tango, I'm like, why? So, like, in the way we're structuring the classes, it's because we're trying to figure out the why. And in what will retain them, because we have to figure out the why. And that part I find really delightful just as a curious person.
of course.
Yeah. So, like, also, it's a bit exhausting because, like,
And I will
a lot of,
say, something I'm very proud of the three of us is, yes, this started as we want to do this and build a community that will ultimately like feed into the broader DMV community. But somewhere along the line, we started having more conversations around, okay, we're seeing success here. How do we package that in a way to communicate it with other organizers so they can have success?
yes.
Because
Yeah.
we want everybody to be successful so
Yes.
that we can keep adding more people and building a bigger pie. And I have
Yes.
to say, I'm very proud of us for always having that in like the back end, like
Yes. Yeah.
which I didn't do. Also, another task list. I just remembered now. But like, we're gonna have another teacher coming in, and we're already planning to like open up an invitation to local teachers to say, hey, do you guys want to all come in and share like a teacher learning experience with
Yeah.
this one person that's coming in, just to keep
Because it helps
building
grow
the
the
resources.
entire
Yeah.
community. Yeah.
We can't rely
Yeah.
on the visiting teachers. They're great in moments,
Hmm.
but then not all of us here are professionals, meaning we don't do this for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
And we haven't been, let's say, teaching organizing for nearly as long together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's important to like learn where you can, so we don't have to like,
It's a
it should
mindset
be
of
trial and error at this
abundance.
point.
No, it's a mindset of abundance. And if you're looking through a lens of scarcity, like, no, 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 these people dance tango and that's all that exists. And I have to milk it for as much as I can. And me is very different than I am sure that our new community is out there. I am sure the people that are going to grow in the ranks and become amazing
Yeah.
dancers and just incredible people and members of the community that maybe will someday be teachers or even own their own businesses
Yeah.
in tango. They're out there, and we have the ability to talk to them. And if we all find success, it lifts all the ships, right? It's a rising tide,
Yeah.
lifts all ships. That is a mindset of abundance.
What
So,
what level of court? Sorry.
well, I want to say though that I do think sometimes if you're not in that mindset, it sounds a little bit crazy. And I get it, but I also know that like the studio exists because of it. The school is doing what it's doing because of it. Because I was like,
Yeah.
no, we're going to spend the money on marketing because I know that they're there. Right. So, yeah, absolutely. We need we're doing what we're doing, and we'll continue, and then hopefully we can help communities grow.
I want to know. Do we have time, John?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the first. I
Well,
want to know to what extent.
wait.
Well, we've gone long,
I'll
He
take.
always cut it
but
off.
yeah.
I want to know to what extent does there need to be coordination amongst organizers to give that extra boost of community growth?
Mm.
In my head, in my idealistic world, there would be like a council of organizers, and we have either some like we all share best practices amongst each other. We figure out, okay, we want to expand tango in these areas. How do, like, as a group, how do we like expand tango regionally? Okay, who's working on bringing in the new people? What are you doing? What do you need help? Like some sort of coordination there in an ideal world. But I know that's not very realistic because not everybody has the time and not everybody's in it for the same
It's
reasons.
kind of shocking.
And is
It
it
doesn't
even
exist
needed?
already.
Like, do other communities do this? Do other forms of artistic groups do this?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, why there isn't a major convention for tango professionals?
Oh, that too.
Why? Like this is
There
how.
are, but it's like very siloed. So, like for instance, if you like, there have been events. We just haven't been in the know because we weren't part of that group before. So there have been like convenings, but it's not like nationally known, publicly talked
Okay,
about. There
okay.
might be, for instance, certain teachers who also will have seminars, and those who follow that teacher come together to learn. Like
Yeah.
other teachers who follow that teacher, for instance. So that happens all the time. But you're right. There's no, at least in the U.S. or even in our region, we don't have like a national coming together.
Yeah, well, I think maybe because a lot of teachers are not, even if they're earning a living from it, they're not approaching it as an entire business.
Yeah.
Because like that takes a certain commitment. Like you gotta, it's one, knowing that you can succeed in it, and two, making the commitment that you're going to show up and do the work when you succeed in it, right? And even like in our beginning, it was like there was a little, oh, I got to be, no, I can't do that thing because I got class, right? I remember this happening. Oh, I can't travel that weekend because we got an event, right? It ties you a bit,
Ties you down.
ties you a bit, and this is also, I think, why there are not more people teaching beginners, because it takes that commitment. It's like, you want to do a beginner course, you're that month, that whole month, you must be there to do
Yeah.
that beginner course, right? Or 8 weeks, God forbid, 2
It's
months, right?
it's
It's a commitment.
it's like it's everything, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
how many times have we talked to people and they're like, how do we promote by running around with flyers and putting up like pieces of paper on like bulletin boards and places, and it's if that's what you're doing, that's like super exhausting to do it constantly.
Josh and I did that in the beginning, by the way. We
Yeah, I
walked
know.
on
I know. You
the
put them
Maple,
everywhere.
and we
Yeah.
went to around all the restaurants. And
That's so if you're doing that like constantly, that's exhausting, and then you have to keep
Yeah.
and then if like four people show up, it's really demoralizing, and then especially if you're not doing it full time, then
Then
you're
it's like, is this even worth it?
is it even worth it?
Yeah.
And then there's also like if you're a local teacher, odds are it's not your full time job. Then there's a sense of like, okay, what I'm doing is good enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a professional.
Yeah. So there's some level of that. And it's interesting because in my main industry as a photographer, I mean, mentors are a dime a dozen. Companies that will sell you something to help grow your business are a dime a dozen. And to be fair, there's also a fair amount of snake oil that's like, oh, I built my $2 million a year studio, and pay me $5,000 to teach you, and they just make their living teaching photographers. So like, I don't think you can do that as an Argentine tango teacher, right? You have to actually, like, if you had done it, you would have a school, right? There would be proof, where for these photographers, like, you can't see their books. You have no idea what they're doing, right? So it's very easy to like make this smoke show and like promote yourself that way. So maybe that's it. Maybe we are talking about artists also,
who all have very different approaches.
different approaches, different lives. So I don't know. I think that there are people, I know of schools that exist, and maybe they also don't want to share what's working for them because they're worried it would impact their own success. You know, that's part of it too. I'm not really sure. But I think like if we're seeing, we have one spot for one leader left in our next series, and we're technically overbooked for all of the rest. Like, if we can do this multiple months in a row and it's sustainable, I don't see why anybody else couldn't turn around and
Right.
do the same thing we're doing and fill a school. And assuming like you're a teacher, you know what you're doing, you have a strategy to teach your students, right?
Right.
It's clearly doable, right? So if nobody else is going to show people, maybe eventually we actually
And that
will.
is a bit of like an automatic, not weeding out factor, but you can only, all that setup will only get you so far if
If
you
you
don't
can't
have
retain
the
them.
charisma and the know-how to retain the students. You can bring them all in, but they'll still trickle out over time. So
Exactly.
in a way, it doesn't hurt to share.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because it doesn't guarantee. Yes.
So
Yeah.
are we going to plan a
Absolutely.
national convention for teachers and organizers?
And okay, cut.
And then we'll have DJs workshops, we'll have teacher workshops, we'll have organizer
Okay,
workshops.
stay tuned. We'll
This is
reveal
how we get into
details.
trouble.
Is this like the
We
fifth business?
imagine
I don't even know.
we
But
imagine so much and then crap we get.
so okay, well, what? So we are now been going
Yes.
quite
Okay.
long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the one final thing, like I brought up earlier, that one of the pieces of feedback on the workshop was people saying that it was
Oh, yes. Yeah.
too
We got to go back
crowded.
to that. It's too crowded. Okay. Yes.
Which I and then
That's
I,
that's part of why I wanted to have an open kimono episode to talk about.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
well,
we
no,
did.
because well, so like just the numbers, right? Like
Just the numbers.
we
Yeah.
capped the workshop at 50 people,
Yep.
and it was definitely like there were times where it was like a little bit cramped, but like not crazy, like manageable. And we got quite a few comments that was like it was a little bit crowded. It'd been nice if there was some more space.
Well,
But so then ultimately you're kind of like, well, in that case, are you willing to pay more,
and
right?
usually the answer is no.
Right, because so if
They don't think about that.
we have 50 people, if we want to go on to 40 people, are you willing to pay 20% more, right? Like that's how that math works out. How much more space do you
Yes.
want, right?
Yes.
Are you willing
So
to pay for?
are you willing to pay
Yeah.
proportionally to that want? Because I think odds are the answer is no, right?
Yes, and that very much it's an equation.
Yeah.
What we have to charge, like I said, this is why I'm like, oh, as a participant, it looks like you do the math for everybody in that room, and you don't realize like, oh, well, those tickets are pretty expensive, and the visa fees, and the food, and like everything else. Yeah, no, these organizers are not making a whole bunch of money. Maybe a festival is a different equation, but I think the margins are still pretty slim there too, right? So the other thing, because we talked to the couple after we got that feedback, because we do like a post-mortem, we sit down with them, what went well from their perspective, what didn't, like what would they like next time if they come back. This is the feedback we got from, this is why we send out that survey, by the way. So if you don't answer it, like, please don't go complain everywhere, like, because this is the time to actually get feedback. And we are asking them, was this too crowded? And actually, they said, no, this was perfect because we're teaching you things for the social dance floor. We want you to be, you have to learn it in the situation in which you're going to dance. Because I'm not going to teach you to do a kolgata that you can only do in a performance and then have you go do that on the social dance floor, right? No, you're learning a kolgata for the social dance floor. And to their credit, I thought those workshops were incredible, very well structured. They used the space in a very smart way that I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could do that, right? So we hear the feedback, we thoroughly evaluate it, and that very much it's an equation. If we can charge more and have fewer people in, but like even to the point we had talked about, maybe we arrange an advanced, very small group, but then like it's gonna cost money, right? That costs real money because the teachers have to be compensated. So there's an equation there, and we're trying to balance what works with consumer psychology, and we'll get people in the door enough to cover the expenses. And like, God forbid, for like 6 months of work and promotion and like a weekend that afterwards, I think we didn't want to move for a week. It was crazy and exhilarating and amazing. But then, like, literally afterwards, it was like, I can't do anything.
Yeah, it was definitely the crash off of all the adrenaline and endorphins was full.
Yes, yes. Like the compensation, I will say, for anybody who actually is working a job and has done that equation, like, is my compensation equivalent to the amount of work? Like 1,000%, the compensation is not anywhere near
Well,
equivalent.
compensation in yes, financial, but maybe there's other forms of compensation in the enjoyments that you get, the experience, the passion, the inspiration. That could also be a form of compensation.
Well, yes, yeah, I'm just saying financial. Like if we're saying
Right.
if they're because they're doing a financial equation in their head, is that workshop worth what I'm going to pay, right? So then on our end we have to do that equation as well because like us doing these workshops, like that does mean I shut my studio down for half
Yeah.
a day, right? And that technically that equation we know we've had these conversations doesn't actually work. It's a sacrifice my studio makes or it's a sacrifice I make as a studio, right? So because I'm willing because those other rewards that are not financial, right? So like that equation people have to realize like yes, they have their own am I willing to part with my hard-earned dollars, but also we have that equation.
Right.
Is it worth it? And if it's we have to charge the same amount and have fewer people in class, it doesn't, right? And it means that like would we do all of that work for no compensation at all? Probably not,
It won't
right?
be sustainable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be sustainable. Maybe we would do it once or twice for like inspiration, but then it would be like, no. And if somebody's doing it over and over and over, then they're learning each time and the experience is better and better and better for the people who are coming and participating. So you do want organizers that can do it in a sustainable way. So think about that in your tango community. You have to know what's going on behind the scenes and they're never going to tell you. I know organizers, we've had these conversations. I know organizers that were paying money out of their own pockets to run milongas to make a space for you to dance. So like go support your local organizers because they're not making a lot of money. Like they're really not. And maybe I think marathons might be a different equation. Festivals, I can't talk about them. We've never done them yet. Uh, but
There's always next
There's
year's
always- yeah.
resolution. Resolution.
but like go support them. Go support them. If this is something that you like to do,
Yeah.
either support them or don't complain
that's
when they
why
decide
also
not to
I'm
do
like-
it.
And
I know I benefit sometimes from being a guest, but that's why I'm also like, I want to pay when I come to Milonga.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm an organizer and a teacher, but I want to pay to come to this Milonga
Yeah.
because I'm aware of what I'm losing for every person that walks and that doesn't pay.
yeah.
Yes.
And I just want to say that definitely go out and support your own local milongas or events. But I also think as an organizer, I don't expect anybody to come out just for the sake of supporting us. I want to build the
Yes,
reputation
the whole community.
that we host events of quality, that we bring people of quality, and then if we are charging for an event, that we truly believe that anybody attending will get their value out of it and more, right? And
Yes.
and that's hopefully, fingers crossed, is what we'll get to eventually.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we talk next time? Because I know we didn't get to it, but like the energy and effort it takes to make something consistent, like having
Ooh,
weekly
yeah.
classes, having monthly milongas. Like
Mhm.
I know that was on the list. We didn't get to it. Maybe that can be another topic in the future.
Yes.
But are we
Yeah.
writing this down? Who's taking notes?
we'll
It's being
we'll feed the transcript AI. It's fine.
It's recorded, Amanda.
It's fine. Yeah.
gonna
We can,
rewatch
we,
this
we can,
again.
you know what?
Torture.
Actually, though, we're going to talk soon about teaching, and maybe that's a little bit of it because I know some questions were related to that. So let's definitely talk about that. But I don't want to leave on a negative Nelly note here.
No.
I think what I want people to know is just like what goes on behind the scenes. I know after our last open kimono, people came up to us and they were like, "We had no idea
Yeah.
that a dance floor costs this much. We had no idea that and let's say yes, this space is.
I
my
think people
studio.
think I'm a guest on this show.
Amanda is not a guest. Amanda is our partner. By the way, Amanda is a co-founder of Vienna Tango School. So like if you have VTS questions, you should message her or John.
Definitely John. John needs some more messages.
Actually, to be fair, can I throw that out there real fast? Way back, I had a viral post. My Facebook has been broken ever since. So please don't message me if we're not friends. Yeah, because I received 5,000 direct messages after I had this post go viral.
What
Okay.
do you- Okay. now I understand.
5,000.
Now I understand. the
Okay.
pain.
They're still sitting there in the filters
Can you
because
just
at some
delete them?
point, well, but do I want to go through and it doesn't bulk delete. So like at some point, Facebook was like, oh, she's getting inundated with all these messages of like well-meaning people. But like, I don't want to go through 5,000 messages. And it means that if we are not friends on Facebook, I actually will not see your message. It just goes into not only filtered, but an extra, there's 2 layers of filtering. So like maybe I very occasionally check the first layer of filtering, and then like maybe once a year I go to the third. So if I don't respond to you because you messaged me, that's because I didn't see it. And also know that I get probably like 200 messages a day, like in my work. And so like just Amanda and John are also co-founders. So just message them, and I'm happy to chat with you at a Malunga. But don't message me on Facebook. That's all.
But
Just
no, I don't respond, so they don't message me anyway. But
well,
send me a
or
voice
email,
message. Send
or
me a voice message.
just email us.
That's
Actually,
or call me. Actually, I am all down for just pick up a call. Doesn't matter if I'm busy. I'll hang up and call back.
you sound 50 right now.
Calling to me, I'm like, why do I need to schedule a time to
You
talk
heard
to
it
someone?
here. You heard it here, folks. Call Amanda 555.
5555555. Okay, all right, we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
So let's end on a good note. The highlights of this past year.
Seeing all of our new beginners.
Okay.
I enjoy getting to know people from the community that I didn't know as well, like that come to our milongas, for instance. Seeing different sides of people, because like at Los Amigos we have like the bake off stuff. So seeing like the off the dance floor personalities come out and shine.
Yeah.
Of course the students coming through and learning and staying. My most favorite thing is literally now, because we only have a practica once a week. After our Thursday classes, we have Tuesday classes, and the people still stay and they keep practicing, and we're like, guys, we gotta get out of here.
Out. Yeah.
But it's so nice to see them like clearly hunger for learning.
Yeah. I think, okay, for me, it's seeing people discover, and it's seeing that hunger awaken, and hearing the questions. And I'm like, ooh, I'm so glad you asked that question. And it has reinvigorated a desire to grow more for me that I hope translates to our entire community growing. And I think good things are ahead. And that, yeah. All right. So if you enjoyed this very long conversation, twice as long as it was supposed to be, please do like and subscribe. Leave us some comments. We try to get to them. Sorry if we haven't.
That's my fault.
Yep.
Yeah, John's the podcaster person, so.
But know that we do read them, and we try to get to them. Sometimes it's just another thing on our to-do with our passion.
We also ask you to comment, not just for our sake, but like to spark conversation with other people, because we want to see what people are saying amongst each other to see if we can learn from that as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we will catch you on the next one.
All right, bye.
Toodles.
Thanks for tuning in to Staying Grounded. If you like this episode, please subscribe and give us a like. We would love to hear from you in the comments, and we'll see you next time.